For a very long time, I genuinely thought everybody else's body responded to weight loss except mine. So no matter what I tried, nothing worked. And I was exhausted from trying so hard. What I didn't realize is that I was unknowingly doing so many things that were costing me results. And the moment I actually stopped doing these 11 habits, fat loss and muscle building finally actually started to show. So by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what might be secretly holding your fat loss back and what to stop doing to actually start losing fat and building muscle without burning yourself out and not seeing results. Girl, I know exactly how it feels to put in all the effort and feel like your body is simply not responding. You're tired, you're confused, and constantly wondering if something's wrong with your body, your hormones, or even your metabolism, especially when you're feeling like you're doing everything right. But here's what I didn't realize for the longest time. Fat loss stalls because you're actually doing things that are quietly working against your body. And once I actually stopped doing these 11 things, everything started to change. So let's get into this first one because it's actually the foundation. Number one, I stopped ignoring my macros and ignoring portion control. And by macros, I mean your proteins, carbs, and fats, not just your protein. For a long time, I always thought that calories were the only thing that mattered. And if I stayed under that number, I expected results. And honestly, that's such a simplistic and unhelpful way to look at fat loss. What I wasn't balancing was how all those calories added up on my plate. And once I started eating enough protein to actually support muscle, carbs that actually fueled my workouts so that I wasn't dragging myself through them, fats to support my hormones, my body actually felt safe enough to change. Now, protein tells your body to hold on to more muscle while losing fat, and carbs give your body enough energy to train hard and recover properly. And fat loss supports your estrogen, your metabolism, and your hormones, and your recovery. And on top of that, I wasn't even prioritizing my portions because I truly simply didn't understand it. Balance matters. And if your nutrition isn't balanced, nothing else is going to change. Not your workouts, your supplements that you take daily, not your consistency. Now stay with me here because the next one is where a lot of women unknowingly sabotage their energy and their cravings. Number two, I stopped skipping meals, especially breakfast. I used to think skipping meals, especially breakfast, meant that I was just being disciplined, when in reality, I was tired, mentally drained, underfueled, and it was always one stressful evening away from binging or overeating. And when I started eating consistently, especially eating enough protein earlier on in the day, my energy stabilized, my cravings dropped, and my workouts immediately improved. Remember, your body builds muscle when you spread out that protein throughout the day, not crammed into one massive meal, because digestion and muscle protein synthesis actually matters. Remember, skipping meals is going to spike your hunger, making fat loss so much more difficult, not easier. And fat loss works so much better when you're feeling fueled, not starved. Number three, I stopped drinking my calories. Now, this one isn't for everyone, but it was huge for me. I used to be addicted to juice, Pepsi, pop, Fanta, all of that stuff. And honestly, any flavored sugary drink. And I felt like I needed one with every meal and every snack. But I had no idea that juice, soda, and alcohol was quietly canceling out my progress. Remember, liquid calories don't fill you up the same way as food does. Alcohol directly slows down your muscle building and pushes fat storage higher. Once I cut back and treated these drinks as occasional drinks, like simply on a vacation, instead of a daily habit, fat loss sped up so much more without me doing excessive cardio. Now I simply just stick to water or carbonated water, and the most I will have is a protein shake. But the sodas, the juice, the alcohol, they're no longer daily habits. And that's simply a lifestyle decision that I made for my goals and my maintenance. Now the next one is where many women waste months in the gym without even realizing it. I stopped training without progressive overload, meaning I made sure that I ensured that progressive overload was in my routine or my programming. I used to repeat the same weights, the same reps, the same rest periods, and the same workouts. I wonder why nothing changed. Remember, muscle only grows when it's being challenged beyond what it's used to. Once I started intentionally increasing the weights, the reps, the tempo, and control over time, My body actually had a reason to finally adapt. Number 5, I stopped being afraid to lift heavy. I used to avoid heavy weight because I didn't want that muscular look. I wanted that slim, thick look, so I stayed to those light weights. And instead, I stayed soft, frustrated, and stuck for years. Remember, women don't have enough testosterone to get that muscular or bulky that you're actually thinking of overnight. Heavy lifting is going to build that lean muscle, increase your metabolism, and make fat loss so much easier in the long term. So once I actually started challenging my body, I became stronger, tighter, fitter, more defined and leaner and not bigger. Now this next one finally gave me clarity instead of confusion. Number 6, I stopped guessing and started actually tracking my progress. I used to rely just on vibes, how I felt and what I thought was happening in my body. But once I actually started tracking my strength through progress photos, measurements, videos, and my food, patterns actually became obvious. Now, tracking is not an obsession. It's more so awareness, and it shows you what to adjust before you stall for months. Remember, data removes the emotion and replaces it with clarity. So far we've covered nutrition balance, meal consistency, training intensity, and awareness. Now let's talk about what's actually happening inside of the gym. Number 7, I stopped training without a plan. I used to watch random YouTube, Insta, and TikTok workout videos and simply just copy them at home or even in the gym with no structure. Don't get me wrong, random workouts is gonna feel productive, but they're not effective. Once I started following a structured program with planned sets, reps, and progression, every workout actually had purpose. No more guessing, no more wasted effort. Remember, a plan turns effort into results. Number 8, I stopped letting the scale control my mood. There were weeks when the scale didn't actually move, but my body was actually changing through body recomposition. When I shifted my focus on measurements, progress photos, videos, my strength gains, and how my clothes actually fit, I noticed definition I never saw before. That kept me consistent instead of quitting too early. And if you've ever quit too early, the next one is going to be for you as well. Number 9, I stopped being inconsistent. Now, this is simple, but it's so powerful. Doing everything perfect for 2 weeks and then disappearing for the next 3 simply doesn't work. But once I committed to consistently showing up, even imperfectly, the results started to compound. Remember, consistency beats intensity every single time. Number 10, I stopped expecting fat loss to come from workouts alone. Now, workouts definitely support fat loss, but nutrition drives it. Once I stopped trying to outtrain a mismatched diet, my efforts actually started matching my results. And understanding this saves women years of frustration. Number 11, I stopped ignoring my mental recovery. Now, stress was silently blocking my actual progress. Poor sleep, constant pressure, and no mental recovery kept my cortisol so high, especially around my stomach. Now, once I prioritized sleep, rest, and stress management, fat loss felt so much easier instead of feeling forced. Remember, your nervous system matters just as much as your nutrition. So if you're thinking, I've tried so much already, I get it. But sometimes progress doesn't come from doing more. So your body is not broken. You just need alignment. And if you want help putting all of this together in a plan that actually fits your lifestyle, then make sure you're subscribed. Hit or turn on that notification bell and like the video. It helps me know what you want more of. And I'll see you friends in the next one.